Ford High School Weekly is brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Oklahoma. And by Rib Crib, smoking good stuff since '92.
There's nothing quite like the excitement of a state championship buzzer beater. That's why Ford High School Weekly's going to state. I'm your host, Deion Imade. We have highlights of the 6A and 5A boys and girls state championship from the Lloyd Noble Center in Norman. Let's get going with Edmond North and Bixby 6A girls. To start the game off, number 22, Tony Paparonis opens up with 2 straight threes for the Edmond North Huskies and gets them off to a fast start. But Bixby Spartans would battle back as Alyssa Nilsson would score from the top of the key, where they would end the first quarter tied 12-12. Then the game would get interesting. Let's skip to the fourth quarter, where El Paparonis steals the pass and gets the ball up to the hoop and gets the game tied. But on the ensuing possession, number 23, Meredith Mays, would get fouled and knocked down 2 clutch free throws. With a 2-point lead for Bixby, Tony Paparonis gets into the lane and lays it up, trying to tie the game, and she does, 48-48, which would take us into overtime. But in overtime, Gracie Worley was unstoppable. She gets it started off by getting the and one bucket. But then, Edmond North's Lacey Steele would answer right back with a big-time three-pointer. But on the other side, Gracie Worley, number 22, gets the step-back 3, leaves the defender touching the earth and knocks it down. But Edmond North comes right back with another 3 of their own from Kate Middleton. Then, Daniels gets the steal, but Bixby's leading scorer, Gracie Worley, picks up her 5th foul and she'll be asked to exit the game early. With 6 seconds left in overtime, tied 57-57, Tony Paparonis takes it to the top of the key, spins, gets into the lane, throws up the off-balance layup, and gets it to go. And the Edmond North Huskies win the girls' 6A state championship 59-57.
On that last shot, and when did you know that the ball got in the bucket?
Honestly, the play was for Allison Heathcock to get a curl screen, and if that didn't work, a back screen for Lacey. But I saw, and they switched the screen for Lacey, and I was like, I got to take it. So I dribbled down, and I went up with it, and it was slow motion. And then right after it happened, I just get tackled, and I don't even remember the basket, to be honest. I'm just on the floor with all my teammates around me.
Coach, you won your 300th career game on Thursday, but you said you'll really celebrate when it's 302. So now that you won 302.
Yes, sir. That 302 sounds a heck of a lot better than 300. I tell you what, I told them out there on the radio, I've been fortunate. I've been doing this for 19 years, and so I get a lot of chances at this. And I've been here and I've done that before, so this was all about the girls. That's all we cared about, me and my coaching staff. We don't care about this for us. Just looking at the girls and seeing them rolling around the floor, they've worked so hard for this, and they only get 4 chances at it.
Now let's check out the highlights of the 5A state championship game, where Dale City, last year's 6A state champions, will face off against the Memorial Chargers. To open up the 5A Boys State Championship game, Memorial's Killian Spellman gets the ball down low and gets the tough and one to go. After this steal from Dale City's Jamari McAllister, he pushes the ball up to number 10, Garrison, and he gets the layup high off the glass and gets it to fall in. Then, number 22, Percy Green would get into the action as he gets a couple 3-pointers from the corner and gets Dell City in a good position. But have no fear, Ty Frierson is here as he hits this step-back 3 to put the Chargers up 14-12 at the end of the first quarter. In the second, look at this dime from number 33, Gareth Ingram, to number 22, Seth Pratt, for the easy 2. And Memorial would get on a run after this big-time rim rocker from Ingram, and he makes the crowd go wild. And take a look at the knockdown 3-point basket from number 22, Seth Pratt, to end the first half, 30-22 Chargers. But Dale City would not go away. In the second half, Jalen Wiley knocks down a three of his own. But you have to feed the big man down low. Brandon Garrison gets the ball, he hits the jump hook off the glass and gets the foul. But after this three-point basket by the leading scorer, Ty Frierson, it was all but said and over. The Tulsa Memorial Chargers would be crowned the 5A state champions with a final score of 59-47.
Bobby, you won 5 of these.
Yeah.
6 overall for the school.
10 overall.
10. Correction. Where does this rank with all this? And
Man, this is, all of them are special. They're like your children, but this, being made through a pandemic, Coach Bragg would have to verify, but this is arguably the greatest season in the history of Memorial basketball. It's the best record ever. 27-1 is one game better than 27-2 in 19, but to win the big games out of state and to win the big game, I think we're top 50 in the country. I really do. I think we could play with anybody.
What did it mean to go out a winner?
It mean everything, because I've been losing. I feel like I've been losing the last 2 years, sophomore year and junior year.
COVID beat us.
COVID beat us and lost one time against Armour. And it mean everything to win this game right here last year in high school.
What are you looking to do beyond basketball?
Going to play basketball for college and stuff.
Like,
what you mean?
Coaching or? He's going to be a pro.
No, I ain't got no plan B right now.
Coming up next, we have McAllister and El Reno in the 5A girls and Moore taking on Edmond North in the 6A boys when Ford High School Weekly continues.
Ford High School Weekly is brought to you by Billy Sims Barbecue. It's not just barbecue, it's Boomer Q.
Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. Our next state championship match features McAllister and El Reno. To start the scoring off for the McAllister Buffaloes, number 24, Mariah Geyer would get the kiss off the glass. Then, Jada Holloman with the dribble handoff knocks down the three-point basket, making it oh so sweet. Then, for the Indians, Pauline Blackharmon would get the pass down low and execute the nice jump hook to get the Indians on the board. With a little over 3 minutes remaining in the second quarter, Ashlyn Evans gets the knockdown three-pointer in the corner. But Jada Holloman would respond with a corner three of her own. Take a look at this pass and this nice jumper on the corner. And that would start a nice little scoring frenzy for the Buffaloes as Stevie Stitchcomb would get a three right after that. Those girls were the leading scorers for the Buffaloes with 16 points apiece. Take a look at Ashley Evans-Thompson as she spins, gets to the cup with a nice finish, and at the half, McAllister would lead by 26-25. At the beginning of the third quarter, look at this nice dish in transition as Holloman gets it to Elizabeth McGillen, and she gets it off the glass to go. But El Reno would turn defense into offense as Tatona Wood Blackout gets the steal and the score. But Holloman was still in it. She gets to make bucket after bucket and shooting tough shots she did with that turnaround jumper over two defenders. Tatona Woods Blackout drives to the middle of the lane, dishes it down low. Jenna Blackharmon gets an easy two to go. But then Jada Holloman puts the ball behind her back, dribbles inside, finds her teammate Mariah Geyer, and she gets the bucket to go. And that's all it would take for the 5A Girls State Championship to be handed to the McAllister Buffaloes with a final score of 53-49.
How does it feel to be a champion?
It feels great.
It feels great, but it doesn't seem real. Like it hasn't set in yet at all.
Yeah.
Was this a goal that you guys had talked about during the season?
We've been winning this all year. I mean, all year. Our coaches are so into it, like no other coach. I mean, he stays up nights watching film.
Till 2 a.m. He'll go to the gym at 2 to 3 a.m. and we're like, this man is crazy.
And even though we're little,
it pays off.
Yeah, even though we're little, he knew we had a chance, and that means so much to us.
What does it say about your girls to be able to overcome, being smaller than the other two?
Well, just like Stevie and Jada said, we knew, we obviously lack in height, but we don't lack in strength and speed and heart and hustle. And we know that we've got to go put the pressure on other teams. frustrate their ball handlers, their shooters. We got to fly around and be who we are, and we bought into that. Those girls, they do it.
The girls from McAllister enjoyed a well-earned victory to get that 5A title. The 6A boys have next. It's Moore taking on Edmond North. With a 6A state championship on the line, the Moore Lions would get the scoring started off first as Keontae Tramble goes baseline, drives, and gets the 2 to fall. Then Malachi Lee would get the steal and go coast to coast for the 2, executing the nice Euro in the lane and gets it off the glass to go. But don't worry, Edmond North Huskies' T.O. Barrett would come and knock down this long 3-point bucket. Then his teammate Dylan Warlick follows up with a nice 2-hand flush. Edmond North would go into halftime with the lead, 28-20. But coming after the break, number 12, Marcus Dawkins would get inside the lane and put the Moore Lions back on the board. Then his teammate, Keontae Tramble, goes the length of the floor, gets the bucket, and he's flexing on him. But the man you gotta worry about, Dylan Warlick, would battle down low. He gets the and one here, and then on the next possession, he knifes a nice sweet pass down low to Bryce Potts. And one more time for Warlick. One of his 28 points on the night. He drives, gets inside, fakes, goes up, underneath, and scores. And that would do it. The 6A Boys State Championship goes to the Edmond North Huskies with a final score of 56-50. The Edmond North boys get a bookend championship with the Edmond North girls. It was quite a Saturday for Edmond North Husky basketball.
I mean, top to bottom, our kids battled. Our bench was even talking, calling out their sets, calling out our scout. You know, we had short walkthrough today, but our kids clicked, and you know, we handled their pressure really good. I actually thought it helped us when they started trapping us there, and we got some easy buckets without so much physicality.
No, it feels amazing because last year we didn't get to make it there.
Right.
We make it to the championship. So it feels amazing being here and just winning.
Dylan, you were the only returning starter off that team last year. I mean, you guys lost a bunch of experience. How did you see yourself grow not only on the court but leadership-wise as the season progressed?
Yeah, I mean, at first I was a little bit scared because I was the only one with varsity experience, really. But the more I played with those guys, the more I realized how good they were and how much they could play. And obviously it showed tonight.
Coming up next, I talk with OSSAA Executive Director David Jackson when Ford High School Weekly returns. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. I got a chance to catch up with David Jackson, the Executive Director of the OSSAA at the state tournament. I asked him about the move of the 6A, 5A tournament to Norman.
So obviously, we always want to be in the best venues that we can get, and for the last 12 years, as you know, we've been at the Mabee Center at ORU, and they have done an excellent job. And what we've done is just we let it out to bid on a 3-year basis, and for those 12 years, the Mabee Center has won that bid. This year, Mr. Castiglione and the university here at Oklahoma put in the winning bid, and so we're committed here for 3 years. It's as simple as that. It's a bidding process, and for the first time in 12 years, someone other than ORU won the bid, and we're glad to be here at OU. It's not the first time. We used to be on a rotation basis between OU and ORU back in the early 2000s. So it's not the first time. They do a great job here, just like they did at ORU. So we are glad to be hosting our 5A, 6A here.
Was there any complaints? I mean, I know this is the day and age of social media and people have their voice and they want to speak up. Was there any, complaints about the fan base having to come out to Norman?
Not really, because going to ORU, you have the people from the Oklahoma City area having to drive up there, so every now and then you'd hear about that. So if there are any, it's just switched. The people out east now may have a hard time coming over west side, but to be honest with you, I think more than anything else, people understand that going from the Oklahoma City area to the Tulsa area is something that probably needs to be done. And so I think people are more understanding of that. More than anything else, they wanted to be in a good venue. And we've been able to put this, at the Mabee Center and at OU. They're at two of the finest in the state. So I think that keeps the complaints down.
So what's the most challenging part for you as far as putting this whole tournament together?
Well, probably just monitoring weather and hope that the weather. Now, I guess most challenging, and I'll tell you, I put it off on our staff. Mike Whaley, our associate director, handles all of this, and I would tell you more than anything else is just getting the personnel in place to handle all the things that are behind the scenes that you don't see. People that are working. Keeping the facility clean, the security people, all the, and it's a huge number of people that work behind the scenes to make it happen. Finding those people, getting them to commit to, 3 solid days. That probably keeps Mike busy more than anything else.
So what's the best part about you being a part of this state tournament right here?
Is watching these championship teams who have worked their tails off all year long to get here, being able to present them those awards, even the runner-up trophy, which doesn't mean a whole lot to that team right now, but it will later. But just being able to present them with awards for the work that they've put into their season all year long is really special for us. A lot of times our work deals with a lot of the negatives with high school activities, but this we get to enjoy.
Giving out trophies and medals looks fun to me. Up next, Michael Knight will be here with the recruiting update here on Ford High School Weekly when we come back. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. Well, it's that time of the month where we got to check in with my guy, Michael Knight from Prep Red Zone. Michael, how's it going?
It's going good. Spring break, it's an interesting time in the Knight household, but it's a good time, man.
Man, I tell you, we all need a break after all the basketball that we got to take part in. But before we go ahead and get you in that state of mind, let's go ahead and do your bread and butter. Let's talk about recruiting real quick before we shift over to basketball. So what do you got for us latest on the recruiting front?
Well, we had a commitment over the weekend, or a little over the week, a week ago. Choctaw quarterback Steele Wassel committed to Akron. The first thing that people might say is Akron. Their new head coach, Joe Moorhead, was the offensive coordinator at Oregon before he took over as head coach this offseason. And that's where Steele and Coach Moorhead developed a relationship, was when he was the OC at Oregon. And so he moves on to Akron. That relationship continues to blossom. Steele goes on a visit up there and likes what he saw enough to go ahead and pull the trigger on a commitment within a week of about a week of going on that visit to Akron. So Steele Wassel, one of the top quarterbacks in the state's 2023 class, is committed now to Akron. Another guy to follow here recently, Cole Adams, a Wasso's wide receiver. He's been offered by just about every school in the SEC. He's recently taken visits to Alabama. Really enjoyed his time in Tuscaloosa. He could be a name over the next couple of weeks that might start narrowing down things, or even throwing out a commitment here soon. But things are really starting to pick up with the 2023 class as we get closer to spring football opening up at the next level.
Oh, spring football, we can't wait for football time here in Oklahoma. But basketball season just ended last week, and we got a chance to go down to see some big-time games. Who were you most interested in talking about for these state championship games that took place last week?
Well, I think a lot of people were looking forward to Class 5A and the eventual showdown that we got with Memorial and Del City. Those two teams have been the top two teams in the state, regardless of class. They've been 1 and 2 in 5A, and in a lot of people's opinions, they've been 1 and 2 in the state, regardless. And They met back in December. Memorial, they led Del City 20-5 after the first quarter. They ended up losing by 10. They certainly had that game in the back of their mind as they got that rematch with Del City, who won the 6A state title a year ago. They dropped down to 5A for this season and make it to the championship game. That rematch with the Chargers. But Memorial, just too much firepower. Ty Frierson, their star point guard, one of the best players in the state this year. Just too much firepower for Del City to overcome. The Eagles have some really good juniors on that team. They're going to be right back in the mix next year. But when it came down to it, Memorial was the best team in the state this season. And so the Chargers end up taking home the Class 5A state championship. And Bobby Allison adds another ring to his hand. I think that he's on his second hand at this point. He's added quite a few over the last decade since taking over that Memorial program. But they were certainly the best team in the state this year. And then for me personally, I was at the Big House for 4A through 2A. The championship games there, and Class 3A, I mean, you can't beat a buzzer beater, right? Millwood winning their 16th state championship in school history. And then in 2A, remember this name, Dayton Forsyth, a sophomore out of Dale, Oklahoma, helped lead the Pirates to their first ever state championship in boys basketball. Forsyth dropped almost 40 in the championship game against a senior-led Cashin team. He's one of the top players in the state that I saw this year in person. He is so advanced for his age, incredibly smooth with the ball, can shoot it from just about anywhere. He has vision that I haven't seen a sophomore had in several years. So Dayton Forsyth, one of the best players in the state, and he proved it on Saturday by leading his team to a state championship.
Go to yourview.com/OK for highlights and check out our podcast and past episodes at yourview.com/OK.
I want to shout out all the schools who participated in the OSSAA state championships this weekend. It was a huge success. And again, guys, thank you for watching here at Forward High School Weekly. I'm your host, Deion Imade.
Forward High School Weekly has been brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Oklahoma. And by Rib Crib, smoking good stuff since '92.